When we started North Spore just over 2 years ago, our goal was to grow high-quality, sustainably grown gourmet mushrooms for local restaurants, markets, and households. We also wanted to create a community hub and resource for mushroom cultivation and education. I remember when we started growing mushrooms, how surprised I was at how fast it happened. It can go from a small pin-sized cluster to a cluster the size of my head in 12 to 24 hours if the temperature's right. And it kind of made me realize when you see mushrooms in the wild, you kind of just think that they're there, but they're actually changing really quickly. You know, the mushroom that you see when you're going for a walk didn't look like that hours before, and it won't look like that hours after.
When you look at a mushroom, what people often don't realize is that you are looking at only one stage of the life cycle. The bulk of the organism actually exists in the soil or the wood that the mushroom is growing from and consists of long strands of cells called mycelium. At North Spore, we grow this mycelium on grain and sawdust in order to create mushroom spawn, the necessary first step in any mushroom cultivation project. So here at North Spore, we try to do the whole process of growing mushrooms from scratch. So we actually start in our laboratory on petri dishes, where we culture out different species of mushrooms. From there, we're transferring the culture onto jars of sterilized grain. We use millet. We kind of culture out the mushroom mycelium on this sterilized millet.
Making mushroom spawn is actually a pretty tricky process. It takes both a lot of skill and a very clean work environment. Over the past 2 years of our business, we've been able to sort of cobble together a makeshift lab where we've been able to produce enough spawn for our own needs and start supplying some spawn to other farms, but we'd really like to increase our capacity for spawn production.
In addition to our commercial mushroom spawn production, mushroom spawn that we create for our own mushrooms that we're producing, we also produce spawn for home growers or gardeners, people who want to incorporate mushroom production into their landscapes. So we actually are able to transfer mushroom cultures in the laboratory onto wooden dowels that then can go into logs, and we make these little packages that are just meant to be an introductory experience for first-time mushroom growers. So right now we're actually utilizing a fleet of small pressure cookers to sterilize all of our grain for our spawn production. It's definitely not ideal. We would love to have a full-sized autoclave. An autoclave is kind of a larger device that can sterilize our substrate without the immense amount of labor and inefficiency that using small pressure cookers takes.
And that is an expensive piece of lab equipment that we haven't been able to get. It's really necessary for us to be able to produce spawn at a scale that we can provide other people with a continual supply.
From all of us here at North Spore, thank you for watching our Kickstarter video. We really need help upgrading our laboratory so we can continue to produce mushroom spawn for people and farms that want to grow their own edible mushrooms. We'd really appreciate any contribution you can make to help us reach our goal. Thanks again.